Thanks again to Nicholas 3 corporate team for putting on this event. It's fantastic. I've got a lot to get through and I'll go quite quickly, but let's get through it. What do Stavely offer that's different? Well, they're big targets. We've got copper gold in Western Victoria and magmatic nickel copper cobalt in the Kimberley region near Derby. We made a discovery in 2019 at the Cayley lode, rough numbers, about 10 million tonnes at 1.25% copper, quarter gram gold, bit of silver. We're looking at potentially processing that in an existing gold plant in the region. It's very difficult, as you'd appreciate, to permit a new tailings dam and that sort of infrastructure in Victoria. So an existing facility that's underutilised makes sense to us. So more news to come on that. Junction has been a target for us for some time. We managed to get on the ground last month. I've just completed last Wednesday a 21-hole program on that property. There's some little vials of material from that drilling on our desk if you want to come and see us at the booth. Highly successful drill program, and we're waiting for assays in the next 4 weeks or so. We propose to get onto the S41 breccia-hosted gold system, similar to Laitian or Kidston up here in Queensland. We've only got one diamond hole into it to date. It is a carbonate-based metal, precious metal system, so a lot of work to be done yet on that very large system. And we are currently working with an EM program at the Hawkstone project. It's next door to IGO's discovery with Buxton on the Dogleg nickel deposit, very high grades, and we're very excited about that as an emerging magmatic nickel project. And I've got a couple of words of wisdom for you on nickel. If you don't like nickel and you just follow the sheep, well, you may need to plug your ears and close your eyes for this presentation. So Stavely, very quickly, the Cayley lode discovered in 2019. A lot of regional targets as well, as in Junction. I've just finished drilling that S41 breccia-hosted gold and other porphyry and epithermal targets throughout that belt. So we were a first mover in that area. We've got the best ground position and we're best placed to leverage off that initial discovery opportunity with subsequent discoveries. We're very excited. As I say, that resource estimate came out in 2022, 10 million tonnes. Total resources, including a chalcocite blanket and another small VMS, is almost 30 million tonnes at 0.75% copper with a bit of gold and a bit of silver. So a pathway to production, as I mentioned, looking at the regional opportunities of existing processing plants. Junction, I've just come from there, finished drilling last Wednesday. Historic holes didn't resolve what the structural controls were here. We've answered those questions with this drilling program we've just completed. Again, material at the booth if you want to come and have a look at it. Good grades in the historic drilling. We now know what the structural orientations are, and that has implications for the upside for future drilling opportunities. Again, drilled from every which way but loose. As you can see on the diagram there, we've now resolved those structural orientations, and this is the drilling that we've just completed and assays pending. S41, as mentioned, in the Stavely project, about 20 k's away from the Cayley lode. Magnetics on the left, gravity on the right, clear geophysical target. We came in and drilled this, the first company to do so ever. Under 50 metres of basalt, discovered this breccia pipe. It's got gold in it and strongly anomalous base metals and pathfinders. It's 2 kilometres by 750 metres, so a big system with only one drill hole into it. It does have sniffs of gold in there, so we know what type of system it is, but typically in these breccia-hosted systems, the gold comes in late on relaxation structures, typically on the margins. So what we propose is to do an IP program, identify where we've had the most sulfide accumulation on the margins of this system, and then we'll drill it. And as an example, this is Kidston. You can see in the yellow areas that not the entirety of the breccia system is mineralised, just relaxation features as the gold comes in late. Sulfide nickel, the demise has been grossly exaggerated. A lot of commentary on nickel laterite in Indonesia killing the nickel market. This is not true. This is the historic nickel price over 25 years. I worked at the Emily Ann nickel mine down in the Forestania belt when it was developed. It was $6,000 US nickel price when we developed that mine. It paid back in 18 months. So the nickel price today is $16,000 US. The Nova Bollinger nickel mine, which is importantly a magmatic nickel mine, it's not Kambalda style, and it's important to make these distinctions, was built at a $10,000 US nickel price. And both of those mines highly profitable, to the extent that you can see here on the left-hand side, forecast from Canaccord, Nova to perform at a cost base better than the nickel from Indonesia on the right-hand side in blue. So that's the Indonesian nickel laterite from Nickel Industries. And you can see Forestania and Cosmos there. The reason why they're closed, they are Kambalda-style lava channel-related deposits. And basically, it is metal per vertical meter. On the global cost curve, you can see BHP's Nickel West operations, Mount Keith and Leinster, up on the top fourth quartile of costs. You can understand why they are closed down, because they were expensive mines when BHP bought them. Then they put the BHP overlay of cost on top of that, and they are now uneconomic. But if you look at the bottom half of that graph, you can see the magmatic nickel deposits, Voisey's Bay, Nova Bollinger, Jinchuan, and Norilsk, all dominate the lower cost part of the curve, and they will make money regardless of what the nickel price is, and no matter what the Indonesians do, who are sitting dominating that third quartile of cost. So nickel ain't nickel. And just to underpin that, and if you don't like nickel, you better close your eyes and stick your fingers in your ears, because this is coming. Last quarter, IGO made $83.5 million from a little nickel mine called Nova Bollinger. It was over 95% of their earnings for the quarter. For the year, it made almost $300 million, over half of the earnings for IGO in the financial year. IGO is a $4 billion company. The nickel made more than the lithium did in 2024. So when you're talking about nickel, the market is filled with people who know the price of everything, but they know little about value. And these magmatic nickel deposits are very, very valuable. So don't be a sheep, do your own research on nickel. This is a Kambalda-style deposit sitting right here. This is it relative to the ovoid zone at Voisey's Bay, a magmatic nickel deposit. To scale, here it is relative to Nova Bollinger, and it's all about mining 101, payable nickel per vertical meter. And so you can understand why these Kambalda-style sulfide deposits are shutting down, but that Nova has just made record profits for IGO. So our project is in the Kimberley, the Hawkstone Magnetic Nickel Copper Project. It's right next to a discovery made in 2015 by Buxton and IGO called the Merlin Prospect, and more recently they discovered the Dog's Leg Prospect in October last year at the end of the Kimberley exploration field season. They announced almost 14 meters at 4.5% nickel with the massive sulfide component of 5.86 meters at 7.5% nickel. That is very, very high grade. We're right next door. So those two deposits are 13 kilometers apart. IGO right now are drilling at Dog's Leg. They've got a major EM program going on between Merlin and Dog's Leg, while just to the other direction, we're very active in the field right now and have been for a month with an EM crew, and we anticipate drilling any conductors that we generate in this EM program up till the end of the year, starting in the second week of October. So we're lining up for a successful field season with a very big brother next door, very active, and with news flow coming from across the fence as well. We've identified with the Falcon Gravity Gradiometer a massive magma chamber. So that big red blob is a 20-kilometer magma chamber. You need a magma chamber to host these magmatic nickel deposits, and this is the perfect host. The outline in pink is our magma chamber on the satellite imagery. The green lines traversing that is our EM lines. We've started up in the northwest corner there in tenement 1169, and we're moving our way to the east, and particularly where we have that change, that inflection, that's the base of the magma chamber, a little shallow depression there that is ideal for collecting nickel sulfides. So that's our primary target for this year. We also have some quite generous funding from the WA government for both the moving loop EM, RC drilling and diamond drilling to the extent of about $620,000. So our work program's really quite straightforward. I've just finished that air core drilling program up on the top there. Come and have a look at the material at the booth. We anticipate some very exciting results coming in about 4 weeks' time. I'll have an announcement out in the next week or so once we've compiled all of our logging and sulfide abundance observations, all of that sort of thing, with results to come in, say, early October. S41 Brescia will do IP over that and then drill it early in the new year as the crops come off in Western Victoria. But at the moment, down the bottom there, we're very active in that ground EM program. We have got conductors. We'll be detailing them to the market, and we plan to drill that in the second week of October with results coming into November. So we have a very active program over the next 6 to 12 months, both in Western Victoria on copper gold and gold targets, and up in the Kimberley on nickel, copper, cobalt targets. So the potential, particularly in the Kimberley, for us to participate in regional consolidation if we have some exploration success with Independence right next door, noting also that the Nova Bollinger mine is in the last couple of years of its mine life, and IGO certainly have reaped the benefits, as I point out in the financial outcomes for 2024 and the fourth quarter of that Nova Bollinger mine, certainly that they would be wanting to replace that as it comes to the twilight of its mine life. So very active up there, and a lot of opportunity for corporate consolidation in that part of the world, and it's an emerging magmatic nickel province of some stature. We haven't been so kindly treated by the market, and I think that the panel discussion yesterday afternoon has highlighted how difficult it has been for explorers. Even the gold explorers have headed to the corner of the page, while producers have seen incredible price rises on the back of a gold price rise. I think the same is true for copper, and certainly there's a lot of narrative that is misleading in the nickel space. The Indonesian nickel producers have not killed the nickel market. You just need a quality deposit is the theme I think you need to take away, and that these magmatic nickel deposits are amongst the best in the world, and that's what we're looking for. So again, we do see a lot of upside in both parts of the country in a multi-commodity mix, copper, nickel, gold, and we do have active programs over the next 6 to 12 months. So very, very keen. I've been hands-on, very hands-on. I was drilling in Victoria last week, so more probably on the basis that it's a difficult landholder, and it was better that I was on site rather than some other geologist. So that was the reason for that. But, high-grade, high-quality resource at Kaylee. We're looking at the commercial viability study again at some of the existing infrastructure in the region. Junction, we've just drilled it, waiting for assays. S41's a fantastic gold discovery opportunity with scale potential. The market's got it wrong on magnetic nickel sulfide. They will dominate the lowest quartile of costs, and so we have a very exciting opportunity at Hawkstone. So big targets, big programs, high impact, and a good opportunity for investors at these sorts of prices. And not to belabor the point, looking for future-facing commodities in first world jurisdictions, really important. We really need that certainty of tenure, and certainly regrettable decision in New South Wales for McPhillamys, but we think that we've got good positions in good jurisdictions. And first world jurisdictions, you can have your tenure taken off you in third world jurisdictions, but we've just learned that you can in first world too. Thank you very much.